Now this one under prepping for the people because it's kind of a prepper tip, even though you'll see why it relates to a lot of other things. How much music do you have and own? Do you have any CDs or MP3s or albums or cassette tapes or anything like that? Because if you don't, then all the music that you have could disappear if a company decided to remove it or that you couldn't have access to it. This is a process that has happened entirely during my lifetime, in most of our lifetimes, right? First, you had to buy physical media, and then you had to buy MP3s, and now it's just all streaming. So you don't actually have anything that can't be taken away. And more importantly, that can't be censored. Anything they decide that Spotify or Tidal or whatever, anything that the government decides is no longer okay for you to listen to will disappear overnight without a trace. And unless you have some kind of physical media, and even that even includes like a digital version, like an MP3 that isn't DRM protected, that you can still listen to, that music will be lost to us. Now look, no shade on anyone who collects vinyl like just for the aesthetic. I don't care why people do the things they do. If it brings them joy, like go to it, honey, do it. But for me, it is also a practical matter because I want to have music that cannot be taken away from me unless it is like physically confiscated from me. Think about how many things need to be working perfectly in order for you to have access to most of the music that you probably listen to now. You've got to have electricity, you've got to have internet, you've got to have a subscription to whatever service, or I mean, maybe it's free and you listen to the ads, but like you have to have a lot of things in order to have access to the music that you enjoy and to support the artists that you want to support. And now Spotify is reducing even the paltry, pathetic amount that they give to artists, but that's, I guess, a different conversation. Find yourself an old MP3 player, load it up with MP3s, find them legally, whatever you do, whether it is MP3s, whether it is finding cassette tapes or finding records or whatever you do, make sure you have actual copies of the media that you enjoy, of the art that you love. Because I believe that amidst all the other laws they are passing, they are going to make it more difficult for us to access certain types of art. And because of the centralization of everything, under things like streaming services, etc., they can take it away. Think about streaming movie sites and services and things like that. Think about how ludicrous it is that certain movies will just not be available. They'll be like, oh yeah, we don't have that anymore. What do you mean? It's a file. Like, put it up there, slap on the poster and like, let's call it a day. Like, we know you have it. You're just making artificial scarcity, and we have gotten used to it. And this has happened so quickly, historically speaking, that we have allowed them to take complete control over the art that we love. I mean, like record companies, et cetera, have always been like middlemen in between us and artists, except for like indie and local artists but even now, artists like myself who are independent, like I have my stuff on these streaming services and like I don't even offer it in CDs. I do sell on Bandcamp, but like still, most of the ways you can access my music are through someone who could decide, nope, this person is too radical. You are no longer allowed to listen to their music. And I would just disappear in a blink. Part of fighting back against this system, part of the revolution of mind and spirit and literally that we need is to also think about how we interact with stuff. It is not okay, nor is it tenable for us to allow these companies, these apps, these services, these corporations to have complete control over how and when we listen to music. Think about the fact that every time you listen to music, somebody knows. Someone knows how many times you've listened to like Shamal Yamin. You know what I mean? Most of the dystopian things that we fear, they're already here in some format. And it's happened within like the last 20 years at truly an unbelievably rapid pace. And we just got used to it. They don't even put DVD burners in most computers anymore. And that's not just because it's more convenient. It's so they have more control over the media that we can share. Even if you want to make like a mixtape for somebody now, you got to make them like a Spotify playlist. And again, it could disappear in a second. There are some things I'm not saying here, but please do extrapolate from what I'm saying into the rest of the world that we live in and the things that we need to do in order to fight back against this system. Art is not optional. There are the things which keep us alive, and there are the things that make life worth living. And without art, life would be empty. and with only approved and state-sanctioned art, similarly so. Let's get ahead of this before it gets any worse than it already is.